Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share our great story this morning. As Mark was saying, it's quite a challenge to talk about value creation in 10 minutes. I'll take the angle of creating value as a niche spec pharma company. I'm a strong believer in human capital value, so just as a quick introduction here, we have an organization here with a chief idea killer, 3 VPs reporting to that person, VP of No, with 1 report, Director of Onerous Reporting, VP of Status Quo, 2 report, Director of Bureaucracy and Director of Rigidity, and VP of Stay of the Course, of course, with a 1 report, Director of Analysis, Para-Analysis, and Para-Analysis. But 1 position, unfortunately, is vacant because there was a lot of turnover in that position. So all this to say that, yes, I see some of the smile here, but sometimes this is not far from the reality, and human capital is very key at PD Pharma, and we try to do the other way around. Okay, 5 key success factor that I'll be talking today as a niche spec pharma company. First, our commercial know-how, our long-term commitment for this market segment, our strategic investment that we did in our operational infrastructure, our corporate branding, and lastly, how do we leverage all of the key stakeholders for this market segment? You know, we've been pretty active in this market for the last 5-6 years, so we have, and with great success, we've been growing our business every year on most of the brands we have. When it comes to talk to potential new partners, we have concrete examples because we know all the key doctors, all the key clinics in pediatric, all the key hospital. So we know this market and we master this market, you know, in and out. And because of this, you know, we bring value to all those potential partners because they see obviously a dollar sign in our partnership, and the fact that we've been pretty active with tangible examples that we share with them when it comes to discuss, you know, opportunities. We believe that this brings tremendous value when it comes to bring new agreements. I'm still amazed today about this this value of this agenda that we have, which is pretty loud and clear. We're there for long term, right? So it's very appealing for these partners that we have currently and those coming, that, you know, we're going to be there long term. Agenda will not change, and they're going to see a maximum value and the relationship or the agreement we're going to be, you know, having together. And the fact that we're there for as a long-term commitment is a big value for these partners. And one thing I want to mention, because of this agenda that we have, we've been able to negotiate pretty good terms. Because when you negotiate something, you know, and you have a long-term commitment, so you put in a position to negotiate good terms in our deals. Again, bring value creation. Strategically, we invested our money at 2 levels at the price of delaying the profitability. Because at the end of the day, creating value, it's a numbers game, right? But we reinvested our money on new deals, obviously, but we also reinvested our money in our operational infrastructure, knowing that at some point, you know, it would attract bigger deal, and it would also attract, you know, more deals. So in short term, the value was not necessarily there because, you know, the numbers were not there, but basically the value here was more on the midterm on the long term. And because of this, you know, reinvestment, we have now a robust infrastructure in place where now the only thing we need to do is to bring more products in the funnel. And it's just a matter of time that we're going to be reaching profitability, and we have a very, very strong pipeline and even more coming. So here the value creation was more on the long term, but we're very pleased of our decision at the time. First thing I did when I had this idea, which was crazy, but was to find a name, and one thing I did is I bought the trademark of PD Pharma, and I knew at the time that the parents were going to be part of that, you know, creation value or that decision-making process. So it means what it says. PediaPharm is a pediatric pharma company, and when you talk to parents or, brokers, like retail brokers, they get it. They get the story pretty, quickly, and now the PediaPharm name now is known internationally, and we have companies now calling us every week, every second week. So I thought that the company name, especially because as a niche company, was a value. This slide, you know what? There's nobody out there that do master this, even the big pharma. So we do master this leveraging of all the key stakeholders for this market, either the doctor, Canadian Pediatric Society. I can also name the Canadian Dermatology Association because we're also active in the area of dermatology, pharmacists, school nurses, regulatory bodies, parents, social media. We are connected to over 100 parents blog across Canada. We talk to the parents through our social media, the pairs. So all this to say that because we do master this leveraging of all the key stakeholders, this is a way to optimize our impact from a commercial standpoint. Because at the end of the day, it's great to leverage something, but it has to bring some numbers. So I'm very proud of this know-how that we have, and this is also something that we share with our partners and our potential new partners as we move on with our strategy. In conclusion, I think that if you want to create value, it has to be strategically sound. You have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, that might be difficult for you to create value, either short-term, mid-term, or long-term. It has to be linked to time. I mean, we don't create a value over time. It takes time, but some of the decisions sometimes are more on the mid-term, long-term, at the price of the mid-term. Some decisions are more on the mid-term, short-term, and sometimes it affects the long-term. But the time factor is definitely something to consider. It has to be financially driven. I'm a strong believer in that. I mean, it's great to say I'm creating value, but at the end of the day, you need to demonstrate that you can put a positive cash flow on your value creation. Otherwise, stay home. But what I'm saying here is, it's at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And for having through that, it requires sufficient capital. I mean, cash is king. It's great to have a great idea, but if you don't have the cash to execute, the value is not optimized here. So the last 2 minutes I'll be spending on how we're going to be creating value as a niche spec pharma company. We're extremely confident to have more agreements in Canada. We're not profitable yet, but in short term, we will. At the end of the day, we're still in a position where now we're building a robust pipeline. We can now consider North American licensing agreements, which was not the case in the past. Now that we are a public entity, we can have access to capital, more capital. So this is something that we will consider. Product acquisition, we have a strategy in place to acquire product. Not a surprise there. We're not the only one, but we'll always find ways to improve our revenue short term by an acquisition strategy. And we've been already approached several times, but we're not there yet to partner on a drug development program for children. There's a lot of unmet need when it comes to medicines for children. We've been in that business for the 5-6 years, and I'm still amazed about the unmet need. And that was the essence of the PediaPharm at the time, knowing that actually there was a report from Glaxo in 2010 stating that only 30% of all the drugs in the world has proper indication and proper formulation for kids. So again, PediaPharm is there to bring a solution to cover that gap when it comes to children medicine, and this is why we have a bright future ahead of us. Thanks for your time.